Alright guys, so hope you're doing fine as always. Today I'm making another video about this AI Doge trade that I took. It's a 3.5 hour scalping trade. I did record my chart live when I was looking for this setup, so without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. Alright, so now for the actual TA part of the video, I'm on the AI Doge chart on the 1 hour time frame. And the first thing we notice on this chart is this big blue vector candle. They're pretty much fully recovering this vector candle over here. So we draw that out real quick. You can see there's a tiny bit that's left unrecovered, but we can pretty much consider this a full recovery. Same on the 15-minute time frame. Here it's a green vector, pretty much fully recovered. We do have an EMA cross, even two of them. So as we are in a very bullish market, we are looking for a long scalping position. So now we first gonna test out and see what would be a good entry point. And of course also stop loss and take profit area. So the reason for this entry right here is this green vector recovery. You can see they tapped right into it. Ideally we would have entered here, but we want to see if price comes to it again in order to bounce off it. So again, ideally would have entered on this wick, but I opened this chart too late, so I just put my entry there. Again, in the hopes that we will retest it and shoot from there. As you could see, we have some type of small resistance on the 50 EMA right here. So that's why I was expecting price can come back into this area before trying to break the 50 EMA again. So we go to the 5-minute time frame right here. We target this liquidity zone, so you can see we bounce off here, we bounce off here again, we bounce off here again, so we can consider there is some type of liquidity sitting here in this area. It's also the area of a very big red vector candle, so they will most likely have to recover this at some point. But we put our TP on the liquidity zone from the entry. Stop loss wise, we see on the 5-minute time frame we still have an unrecovered vector candle sitting right here. So this vector block, red vector, green vector, if you remember correctly, very strong zone, a vector block, so they might want to recover it, but it's a very strong zone. So we put our stop loss somewhere below that. We leave a tiny bit of wiggle room, let's call it, but this is just wiggle room. A stop loss anywhere below this block would be okay. If they break this vector block, they will most likely break the previous vector candle recovery that we had here as well. Also these wicks on the 1-hour time frame. So if that vector block breaks, there's a good chance we will take out this as well. So we look for a re-entry after they have taken out this wick. Nevertheless, we want to have a quick scalp, so we look for a bounce of this area again, stop loss below the vector block. So we see from there what's going to happen. So TP on the liquidity zone, and that's pretty much all that is to this trade. So again, TP on liquidity zone. Let's TP on liquidity zone, stop loss below vector block, entry on this very big vector candle recovery, this one right here. So that's pretty much all that is to this trade. So now we can go to the outro to see how this trade went in hindsight. All right, so now what can we tell about this trade? We could see we did get our entry right here, so they did break through the 50 EMA. They bounced off the 800, came back into the area that we expected. They also tapped into this Victor candle right here, the Victor block that we were talking about earlier. From there we bounced up all the way into full profit. So the screenshot of the trade, entry at 0.03806 right here, and TP on 0.0042.02 right there. So if we have a zoomed in look, you could see the bounces of the EMAs better, the bounces of this vector block better. We didn't go for the liquidity sweep right here. We did go up, we broke right through the liquidity zone that we were targeting. If we have a look right here where we went, so we pretty much did a full recovery of this red vector area that we were talking about earlier. You could say we could have targeted the whole vector candle recovery, which is valid. You would have gotten a 7R-ish trade. It's a really valid opinion to target this. I personally wanted a quick scalp, so I target the liquidity zone, as there's always a good chance that we bounce of it. So we take topside liquidity, look for downside liquidity. But we know from the principle of the vector candles that eventually they want to come and recover these vector candles right here. So that would also have been a good TP option right here, maybe somewhere in the middle or below some wicks right here that can potentially cause some resistance, but that's hindsight, of course. I was happy with a 3.5 hour scalp. If I wanted to look for a bigger liquidity zone, it would already be more of a swing trade. So in the 1 hour time frame, you can see it's a very choppy chart. On the 15-minute time frame, it's also quite choppy. So another thing, some people might consider this as a head and shoulder pattern, so it might also be a pattern trap, who knows? Just some things to look out for. I don't trade these patterns really, so I can't comment on it, but this can also, or some people can also see this as some type of head and shoulders, who knows? Also some things to take into account. So that was pretty much everything to this trade. So as always, if there are any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section or on the Discord server, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and see ya. Bye bye.